Thank you so much for staying. Welcome back on the AM show. Now, we did not announce this off the bat, but we have a crucial conversation. If you've noticed in recent times that your car has been acting funny, apart from everything else you know about it, and you heard about the situation with some fuel stations, and I don't want to say adulterated fuel, but fuel that had components that would or could affect your car. Well, we have a conversation on that this morning because guess who joins us? Said Ubeidala Kutia. He is head quality control at the MPA. He's going to explain at what exactly has been happening and why we are here. Mr. Kutia, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining the conversation.
Thank you very much, my brother.
So, explain to us, over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, close to a month, a lot of people have come with complaints about their cars all of a sudden. For me, I've experienced some jerking and all of that, a few things here. And others have different, complaints they have come up with. But what has been the major problem? The MPA has spoken at some point on the back of this. What has been happening?
Okay, thank you very much, my brother. Indeed, my heart and the entire heart of the MPA, the Chief Executive, Dr. Sheikh Mustafa Abdul Hamid, have spoken extensively on this issue. It's quite unfortunate that this have happened, and I wouldn't even want to share my own experience in this regard. However, what have occasioned this, unfortunately, it took us time to realize, because when people started having these complaints, because we do have a routine system where, irrespective of the complaint, be it quality or quantity of fuel, anything related to fuel issue, you come to the MPA to, lodge a complaint. So, but we realized for a period that the complaints were getting out of the normal range. So, and most of the complaints were linked to jacking of the vehicle.
Wow.
So my team, headed by our director, Mr. Theophilus Mahino, we have to do extensive research as to what was happening. We tested a lot of the fuels again and again and realized that it was meeting specifications. And that was the difficulty, because obviously somebody brings a complaint. You want to know your reference point is the standard. So you pick the standard, you look at it, you test the fuel, and you realize the fuel is meeting specification. Yet, the person genuinely is facing problems. So we had to do extensive research, where now you look at the factors that could cause a car to jack.
And we know now that there are the newer generation of vehicles that are coming. Some of them are much more sensitive to the manganese, to the iron, to the lead, and other components.
So we had to do a data disaggregation of the vehicles involved. That was what gave us the clue. So we realized that a lot of people will mention a particular station. So you go there, pick sample, the sample is fine. You look at the cars that are reporting the cases. You ask other users of the same, who buy fuel from the same station, they don't have problem. For instance, I was having problem myself. Funny enough, can I report to the MPA? Yes, it was part of the complaint investigation. My wife buy from the same station I also buy. She doesn't have problem.
But you have a problem.
But I have problem.
Is your vehicle of a newer, more modern make?
CRV 2018. That was what gave us. So I became more or less like the guinea pig.
Right.
We had to use to see, okay. Then we realized that it was vehicle of similar addition and requirements.
Right.
Because the background is that every vehicle is designed for a particular grade of fuel.
Right.
So that was how we started linking the issue. So we realized that the vehicles that were involved were actually vehicles requiring about Euro 5 equivalent of a standard. So we already know what Euro 5 was, but we had to now take an in-depth look at Euro 5.
So what is this Euro 5? What goes into it?
So Euro 5 is like the Euro standards is mostly the reference standard world over when it comes to vehicles fuel standards. So a certain particular vehicle will be tailored and referenced to the equivalent Euro standard. So when you look at Euro 5, it requires a manganese of maximum 2.
2%.
2 ppm.
2 pp. Okay.
Yeah, milligram per liter, which is the same as part per million.
Okay.
So Euro 4 vehicles were also involved. They require a maximum of 6.
Wow, so it was that high?
Yeah. So then we look at, well, we knew, we had a roadmap actually to reduce our manganese. But that is the problem, because the background to this standard is that the standard was tailored for local, to enable local, refinery, particularly the thermal refinery, to be able to meet the standard. And at that time, 18 milligram was okay for all the vehicles mostly in the system. So there was no problem. It's just like now a new breed of vehicles have come into the market, and that required a certain tailored fuel.
And that means all these, and we have so many of these new vehicles from, you mentioned, from 2017, 2018, 2019, the makes in the system, from Toyota to Mazda to Fiat. My own car has been affected to others. So which vehicles really? Is it the make? Is it the fact that they are made within a certain period? Or are there specifics, maybe a CRV, or are there specific vehicles per the study?
So the common denominator is vehicle equipped with, emission control systems.
Okay. Vehicles with emission control systems.
So the emission control system have a catalyst in the system. So the catalyst effectiveness is hampered by the extent of these metals present, the quantities of these metals present. So, but because now vehicles requirements are such that they must reduce emission, the capacity of the engines have been reduced, mostly in most cases. And that required a very efficient system throughout. So any hitch in any of these areas affect the total performance of the vehicle, because some of the sensors will become blunt because of deposits of these metals.
We also know that in some cases, spark plugs have been affected.
Yeah, is the key, issue that we experience, because if you look at the parameters that require a spark ignition engine to perform, the spark plug becomes key, because you require fuel, you require oxygen, and you require spark source, which is produced by the spark plugs. So yes, the fuel will still come, yes, you have oxygen coming, but the required fire that's supposed to be ignited by the spark plug is what has been
for that sort of combustion, and that's what leads to the jerking.
So the inconsistent ignition of the spark plug creates the jerking problem.
Because I've personally faced this for quite a while, and I used to wonder what it was. You check your oil, you check this and check that, the thing from time to time, and now we realize that this is the case. And unfortunately, if you're using one of those sensitive vehicles, so to speak, this is the situation. But a quick one. So the Euro 5 standard, are we meeting it? Is there any fuel station meeting it anywhere in Ghana? And if not, for those who use such vehicles, what is the next best option?
So somebody will ask before that what have changed? Because we have been fine. So we have to do a back check. So we realize that apparently, even though our standard is a manganese of 18, we had other parameters that are more of Euro 5 equivalent. And that compelled a lot of the importers to bring us fuels that have less than 2 manganese, milligram per liter consistently.
Okay.
So we've been enjoying a higher grade, even though our standard was not exactly the same. Because our standard, the current Ghana standard, for petrol, GS 140.
Are we going to change that standard?
We've already changed.
We've changed it.
We've changed it. As a result of this, we have to do an emergency. So when we realize that's the good thing, when we quickly realize, in fact, the chief executive of NPA, Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, have to call the GSA Director General, Professor Dodo. The two quickly agreed and put a committee in place, and within 2 months we had finished with the standard. I think it's now going for public comment, but however, the NPA have taken a proactive role to talk to the main importers that, look, this is the situation. The standard currently will allow you this, but in view of the impact on consumers, we plead with you not to bring fuels of these until the standard becomes effective.
Okay.
But we've given them an effective date of 1st January.
Okay.
But we've gone ahead to
start some level
to plead with them to ensure that fuels of that range does not come in. So the top part of the chain is fine. All the depots currently have fuel of normal quality that will give you the problem. The unfortunate thing is that just like if you have a flood situation, when the rain even stops, but you have some storm water that's still in the system. But we anticipate, in fact, already when we do our statistics, the complaints have come down. The complaints have drastically come down, and we think that...
And we're grateful to the MPA for all the good work you're doing. We'll have ample time. I see the numbers on social media rising. You're very interested in the conversation. Subsequently, we'll make more time for this conversation on the show. But Mr. Kutia, we are so grateful that you've taken the time, at least to educate us on this, and let us know that there's work going on.
Thank you very much. Once again, my heart goes to everybody affected.
Thank you so much. That is Mr. Said Ubeidallah Kutia. He is head quality control with the MPA. So if you've been wondering what is happening with your car, this could be one of those, especially if your car is a new one. Stay with us. After the break, we return and talk politics, the latest polls, and what we can look forward to in election 2024. We'll be right back.